ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಲ್ಲ
ಅದು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿ. ಇದನ್ನೇನಿಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರು. ಆಫ್ ಆದರೆ ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಗೂಗಲ್ ಮೀಟು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಧನುಷ್ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಮೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಖಾತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಫ್ರೇಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಬೇಲಿಂಗದು ಇವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಇದು ಆಫ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಡು. ಇದು ಲಿಂಕು IQSಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು? ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ್ವಿ ಓಪನ್. ಹಲೋ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ನ. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಧನುಷ್ ಸೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಕಳಿಸಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡೋಷ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ.
ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಫ್ ಆದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ
ಚೆಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆಡಿಯೋ.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಏನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಹಲೋ,
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ to one and all. Am I audible, madam?
Yes sir, you are audible sir.
Good evening to one and all present in the 6th day National Level Faculty Development Virtual Webinar conducted by Department of Mathematics and English System of Government First Grade College and PG Center Chintamani in association with the Bangalore North University, Kolar, and Mathematics Forum, Bangalore North University, Bangalore University and Bangalore Central University. Today is the second day of Faculty Development Program, and we have with us Chief Guest Sri M. Krishna Reddy sir, MLA Chintamani Assembly Constituency and former Deputy Speaker, Government of Karnataka, and also Chairman of College Development Council. Sir could not attend on inauguration day due to his busy schedule, and today we are indeed honored and glad to have Sri M. Krishna Reddy sir with us. Now, I would like to call on Professor H.T. Suguna, Organizing Secretary and HOD of Mathematics of our college, to welcome the Chief Guest and other delegates. Over to you, madam.
Good evening, one and all present here. I extend a warm welcome to all at the second day of 6th day online faculty development program on Python, held from 19th to 24th July 21st at GFGC and PG Center, Chintamani, in association with Bangalore North University and Mathematics Forum of PU, DCU and BNU. I find an immense pleasure to take an opportunity to welcome the guest of honor for this evening. He is none other than Sri M. Krishna Reddy, ex-Deputy Speaker of Karnataka and present MLA of our Chintamani Vidhana Sabha constituency. Sir is known for simplicity, honesty, generosity and non-corruption. He is from an agriculturist family, resided at Kundalalli, Bangalore. Before becoming MLA, he was a social worker, provided shelter for many poor and needy people. His brave struggle, supported by his determined determination, has brought him all the way till today. Sir has become member of Legislative Assembly in year 2013. Sir has made remarkable works in his constituency. He focused on the social issues such as poverty, unemployment, etc. Sir has done outstanding performance as a Honorable Deputy Speaker of Karnataka from 2018 to 2020. He was the chairperson of Petition Committee, House Committee, Members Committee, and also Library Committee of our government. He has done outstanding performance as a Deputy Speaker of Karnataka by shortlisting 100 crore rupees properties of government encroached by private sectors. Totally, sir has made great effort to promote good health and all the facilities to all constituency. In this pandemic situation, his constituency, by recruiting doctors, nurses, and B group employees personally, he has served a lot to our Chintamani people. And also, we are very thankful to him for taking the time out of his busy schedule to address us in this faculty development program. The presence of such a great personality in this August occasion is a blessing. I request Sir to enlighten us with his precious words, and also I welcome our resource person, Professor Aravind N, for the second technical session of our faculty development program. Aravind Sir is working as Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Vidya College, Bangalore. And at the last, I welcome all the participants to this second day technical session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for welcoming chief guest of the day and other delegates present on this virtual webinar. Now, I would like to call upon Sri M. Krishna Reddy sir to speak a few words about the virtual webinar. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, one and all. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಉತ್ತರ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪ್ರಥಮ BSc ಗಣಿತ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದ ವಿಷಯದ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕ ತರಗತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಎಂಬ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವುದರಿಂದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕರಿಗೆ 6 ಡೇ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಪ್ರಥಮ ದರ್ಜೆ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ನಾತಕೋತ್ತರ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಹಾಗೂ BNU ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಫೋರಂನ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸಿರುವುದರಿಂದ ತುಂಬಾ ಉತ್ತಮ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಅನೇಕ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ಒಂದು ಡಾಟಾ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಡಾಟಾ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಫೋರೆನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಮುಂತಾದ ಕಡೆ ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಜ್ಞಾನ ತುಂಬಾ ಉಪಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ FDPಯ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸುವುದರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅವರ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ಉಜ್ವಲಗೊಳಿಸಬೇಕೆಂದು ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋರುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸುವುದು ತುಂಬಾ ಉತ್ತಮ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ಡಾಟಾ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವುದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಡಾಟಾ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಫೋರೆನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಮುಂತಾದ ಕಡೆ ಪೈಥಾನ್ ನ ಜ್ಞಾನ ತುಂಬಾ ಉಪಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ FDPಯ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸುವುದರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅವರ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ಉಜ್ವಲಗೊಳಿಸಬೇಕೆಂದು ಕೋರುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on the Python programming and also the importance of Python and applications of this Python in the present scenario and in the today's markets. Thank you, sir, for your enlightening words.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
thank you,
sir. Thank you. Now I call upon Professor S.M. Venkateshappa sir, HOD of Political Science, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening to all. It is a great pleasure to me to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks to our beloved and people-friendly MLA of Chintamani constituency. He is the former Deputy Speaker of Karnataka Legislative Assembly and also the Chairman of the College Development Council of our college. And I thank Honorable Sri M. Krishna Reddy, who addressed the FDP with inspirational words which encourage us to conduct much more FDPs and other events in our college. Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking words you said on Python language on this occasion. We are very much inspired by your words. Thank you very much, sir. Over, sir. Over to Balasubramanian.
Thank you, sir. Now, we shall start the program. I deem it my privilege to introduce the resource person for today's session, Professor Aravind N, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, the National College, Jayanagar, Bangalore. Sir will going to deliver a talk on simple programs on Python. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I hope I am audible. Matatira sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So yesterday, before concluding, there was one question: add and append. Okay, I don't know who asked the question. Professor Sujata, I guess, maybe. So add and append both are they actually do the same work, but what happens is add is like one element. Okay, you add one element to the given list. Okay, that is add. Append is also it's the same thing. Okay, update bandhu, it is for a list of items. Okay, when you have a list, okay, suppose you have a list B which has 10, 20, 30. You want to update, add this list to another list A. Okay, so that time you actually use update. Okay, but in other cases you actually can use append or add. Okay, technically speaking, add is much more faster. That's what they say. But since our computation is as of bit simple. Okay, so yeah, since our computation is bit simple, I don't think that timing might make that much difference. Okay, people who deal with large data sets, then only this add and append will have their impact in the time of computation. But over here, since we are using very simple cases, we can use any of this. We can use add or append. It goes. Okay, sometimes add and update. Add they actually use for sets. Okay, add or update they use for sets, and append you can use for list and all these things. So we need to look at the data type. Okay, so data type ಯಾವ ತರ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು next we have to go forward. Okay, let me share the screen. Continuing further. Okay, so yesterday I had ended somewhere like at some point. But see, I remember that I had installed or like used import math. Import math. ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ನಾನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. Okay, so import or like from math import star. Import star. So it is giving false. Okay, so exp2 is nothing but e power 2. Okay, and e star star 2 is also e power 2, but it is giving false because the values or like the decimal places, the fractional part. Okay, in e star star 2 is more than this one. Okay, since few values are truncated over here, or like there is a round off error. Okay, so this is called a round off error that we actually use. So since there is a round off error, we get an error, or like if we check is exp of 2, that is exponential for 2 is equal to e star star 2, it will give us false, but the value up to this point remains the same. Okay, so these are the minute cases, okay, that you might come across. Okay, so if you give some negative value x is equal to minus 23.125, so find the absolute value, you use abs of x. Okay, the absolute value, and you can also use FABS, meaning the what would I say, float. Yeah, float ABS. Okay, it will give the float value, but ABS also will give the same answer. Okay, so to find the factorial of some function or some number, okay, factorial of 5. Okay, use factorial, the entire word factorial 5, which will give me 120. Okay, which will give 120 as the output. Okay. And 50 slash slash, not the backslash, front slash, use double front slash 6, it will give the remainder. Okay, so it will give the remainder of the value. Okay, you can use any other value as well. So 10 hakadre it will give the divisor. Okay, so 6 alva, 48. Okay, so 6 8 times is 48, so that is even. Over here it will give the remainder. Okay, so this one will give the remainder. Okay, and F mod 2. F mod 2 will give the remainder in float form. Okay, so if I use 50 and 6, it will give 2. Okay, 6 8 times is 48, and 2 will be remainder. It will give me 2. So F mod is one thing, and mod F is another case where mod F actually gives integer part and the fractional part separately. Okay, so if I use mod F 2 point, I'll use much more fractional part 2.789. Okay, some number like this. So 2.57829. Okay, so mod F use mod laga, we will gets 2.0 as the integer part of the number, and 0.587829 as the fractional part. Okay, which is the fractional part of the given number. So mod F and F mod they differ like this. Okay, F mod is the what is it? Float mod. Okay, it's a float. So that one if you just use mod, okay, it is not defined. So better we use F mod. Okay, so F mod gives us the remainder. Mod F gives the, or like mod F separates or like splits the real, not the real, sorry, splits the integer and the fractional part of the given float number. Okay, that is the point. Okay, and you can go for length of a list. Okay, and then also you can look at the maximum or minimum values. Suppose I have A equals 10 152, okay, 9636 and all these things. Okay, this is a list. Okay, so length of A, this I have already done. So A is equal to, or the length of A is 3. So minimum value of A is 10, and maximum value of A is 9636. Over here I have given 9636, which is the maximum value, and I can even use sum of the values of A. Okay. So it adds all the values in the given list. Okay, so 9636 plus 152 plus 10. Okay, 9636 plus 152 plus 10 will give me the same answer. 7989, 7989. You can, just for confirmation, I'm just telling. Okay, and this is for the real part, or like in the realization. Suppose we go to some complex plane, or like if you want to represent a complex number, we don't use a plus ib, right? So like x plus I by whatever. So I have, if I want to write u is equal to 2 plus 3i. Okay, I cannot write 3i. Okay, if I use this one invalid syntax, it will give an invalid syntax because I is not defined. Over here, they use j. Okay. J is the the imaginary part, whatever we represent with j. That is the imaginary part, because I they use for current in electrical or like electronics engineering. Okay, so that's why they don't use I in any of the, not any of the, in this programming languages. So instead of that one, we use J over here. Okay, so while representing a complex number or even a complex function, for the imaginary part is represented with a J as a suffix or prefix. You can. Okay. Yes. So these are about the basic things. There are a lot of one-liner codes that are available, or like that we can go through. Okay. So we can just keep on looking for those things whichever are required. Okay. That's the these are about the basic things. Okay. Coming to the simple programs. Okay. So we should start with a few of the things. Sum of natural numbers using while loop. Okay. So before going to that one, let me just give a brief example, or like some brief session about what is if. Okay, if and else condition, right? So just a minute. pad is not working. Just use the whiteboard over here. Photo gets there. Let me see. Yeah. So there are a few conditional statements, or like you while writing the simple programs, we use if and else statements. We use if statements just like that. Okay. If there is no this one, okay, nested loops and that is also possible. Okay, and then while statements we can use. Okay, so these are few things that are there. Okay, but so if statement. So we can use if statement with just over here. I'll be concentrating only on Python. Okay, so if, okay, some condition. Okay, some, if some condition. Okay, if x is greater than 0. Okay, then we use, after writing the condition, we use a colon over here. Okay, and the next line we have an indentation. Okay, one tab space will be there. Over here, there will be a tab space. Okay, meaning the next sentence starts from here. Suppose, like if I say if x is less than 0, given value some if x is less than 10. Okay, add x to y. Okay, so z is equal to x plus y. Okay, so there is a indentation. This represents that this syntax over here. Okay, it will be, I mean, this, it comes to this loop. Okay, it comes to this loop. Okay. So yeah, and we need not end any of these sentences. Like in CLE or like even MATLAB, when we are using if statement or for statements, we have to end that one. Over here, it's not necessary that we need to end. Okay, just go to the next line and start the line from over here. Okay, so print statement you could print. You'll put in print statement. Okay, so this indentation is much more important. Okay, if you want to execute something within this loop, okay, then indent it. Okay, so z2 is equal to x star y. X star y. Okay, just a sorry for that. So this is about if statements. Okay, if only there is an if statement, you need not do anything. Okay, if this is true, then you do this one. If there is some nested loop, okay, or else you can use else statement. If some condition is there, then you use the statement. Okay, and then else will come over here again. Okay, else again you use this colon. Okay, after using the colon, you again indent the statement with one tab. Statement 1, and I can say statement 2. Okay, but if there is one more case over here like this, so you can use if your statement, okay, not the semicolon, you have to use colon. Okay, then statement 1, and then again elif. Okay, elif. Else if it's over here, it is elif. Okay. Elif, you use the next statement. If you are using this one, then you have to end the statement with else. Okay. Else, you write the other statement, last statement. Okay, and similarly for the for loop. Okay, even for loop. Okay, you start the for. Okay, for some condition I in a range or like range of some value. Okay, you try to print I. Okay, So print I. Okay. So we have to leave this one space or like one tab space over here. Okay. So this will be the same things for this one. Okay. Even for the while loop, it will be the same. Only thing is we have to, whenever we want to do an operation within the loop, okay, we need to make that indentation. Okay, one space indentation. Okay, or else it will give an error. It will throw an error at us. Okay. So we'll just look into that one. Okay. How we can do that. So the first one will be sum of natural numbers using while loop. Okay. So we define that one. Okay. Sum. Okay. Define. Okay. There are one thing is I have already told you. You can use or like you can write codes in various ways as possible. Okay. So some people use define the function. Okay. Or like define some zero. Okay. So SUM we don't take or like recommend taking SUM because it's an inbuilt function or like it's a keyword. Okay. So don't take SUM. So you can take SUM 0 or like capital SUM. This is allowed because Python is case sensitive. You can take like this. Okay. But I generally take SUM 0 or like SUM 1. Okay. Sum 0 of n. Okay. So we want this definition to be inside this function or like whatever we are defining now, we want it to be inside this function, right? So first we'll initiate what we want. We want the sum, okay, of the n numbers. Okay, whatever the n that we take. So what actually we have to do? First we'll initiate or like initialize I and sum. Okay. I and sum 2 to be equal to 1 and 0. 1 and 0. Okay. So while I is less than or equal to n, I is less than or equal to n, sum 2 equals sum 2 plus I. Sum 2 plus I. Then what will happen? You have to increment I. I equals I plus 1. I plus 1. Okay. And then we don't want, okay, we'll use print statement over here. Print, I'll put sum 2. So if I run this one, okay. So while over here, I didn't use the semicolon and I have to indent all these things that I have not done over here. Okay. So now if I run this one, there is no output because I am not, I have not defined anything. So I'll just use sum 0 of 10. Sum 0 of 10. It is giving me output at each and every point. Okay, I am doing this one just to make to understand about the indentation. Okay, so it starts with 0. Sum 0 is 0 as of now, and it is starting with 1. Okay, so n is as of now, n is 10, right? So I starts with 1. Okay, so that is 1 that has been printed over here. Then 1 plus 1, 2. Okay, so it will take 2 as a next value. Okay, so first while I is less than 10, it will start with I is equal to 1. Okay, sum 2 is equal to sum 2 plus I. Okay, sum 2 is what? As of now, sum 2 is equal to 0 in the first place. When I is equal to 1, okay, this adds to this one, that will become sum 2 is equal to 1. And what will happen? Sum 2 is equal to 1, that has been printed over here. Okay, and I increments to I plus 1. I increases I plus 1, that is equal to I is equal to 2. 1 plus 1, that is 2. Now it will add to this value because sum 2 is now it is equal to 1. The value in sum 2 is 1, and this will be added to this, and we'll get sum 2 is equal to 2 plus 1, that is 3. Okay. And similarly, so on so forth. Next will be 4. Sorry, 3, right? So I is equal to 3. So 3 plus 3, 6. Each of the cases it is printing. Okay, but I don't want the output at each of the statements. Then I can just remove the tab space. Okay. Now if I run this one, I'll get only the last answer, the final answer I'll get it. Okay. So this is the very essential part of printing, because sometimes we can get all this values that are not required, isn't it? So over here, this is using while loop. You can write the same program using for loop as well. That is also possible. Okay, and if you want to print any statements over here, you can use sum of first, okay, n natural numbers, right? So first n natural numbers, inverted between single quotes, you can write this one, use a comma, and n again use a comma, okay, and write the natural numbers with in between the quotes, okay, natural, okay. Numbers again use. So each of these things, okay, this is a string type, okay, this is a variable that is an integer type. If you want to even use, if you want to use different kinds of data types inside the print statement, you use this comma, and you have to make sure that you are using proper variable names. Okay. So the sum of first and natural numbers is 55. So you get the answer like that. You can use this sum 10 over here as well. You can write this one 0 of 10. It will directly give the answer over there as well. It is possible. Okay. One more way you can write this one is you can, instead of taking the defining this one, you can directly take n. Okay, n equals int input. Okay, so enter the value of n. Value of n. Okay, so it will take the value of n. Now again you have to initialize. Okay, suppose you don't initialize this I and sum, it will not know what is I and what is sum. Okay, so you can use the same things. Only thing is you don't indent all these things. Okay, so indentation ಬೇಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ. Okay, and ಇದನ್ನು ಬೇಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ. Directly you can use 10 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ the first value or like 10 values of all these things will be like this. Okay, so over here, okay, both ways are possible, or like both ways are correct. You can write however you want. Over here you are defining the function. Okay, so this is one another proper way to do, or like defining a function and all these things. So this is I would say ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪಂತೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡೂ ಸರಿ. That is the point over here. Okay, so you can use write this one in using for loop as well. So we will not go to that one. Okay, and then this is about this, and what else do we have? Yeah, I have just written over here. Okay, so for n is equal to int input, same thing. Sum 0, I can directly initialize sum is equal to 0. Okay, for loop only we don't need to specify what is I. Okay, for loop only it's not necessary that we have to specify what is I or anything. Okay, directly we can start. Okay, so you can write this one as well. Yeah, for I in range of n plus 1. Why I am taking n plus 1? Because okay, in Python, okay, if I use range of 3, okay, it will give me values from 0, 1 and 2. That's it. It will not give 3. So whenever I use range of n, it will give me values from 0, 1, so on up to n, but it will not give n plus 1. Sorry, n minus 1. N minus 1, and it will not give me n. N value barala. So just to have this n value with me, I'll have this one from n plus 1, range of n plus 1. So it will, the values will be from 0 to n. Up to n, I'll have the values. That's why I'm using n plus 1 over here. Okay, so if I give range of 10, it will give me only for up to 9. Okay, so range of 9 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ it's not displaying. Okay, so it's okay. So it will give me only up to 8. Okay, so since I want 0 to 10 values, okay, so I use n plus 1. Okay, so if I give the value 10, it will give me 55, and I can get any other value 152 also, it will give me the answer. Okay, So these are the things, or like this is about the adding the first or natural numbers, okay, using while loop, and this is for loop. You can use this one if at all it is required, or else it's not necessary. Means it's okay. Then next thing that comes over here will be prime numbers. Okay, so asking or like telling if the given number is prime or not. So what we can do is we first take the number. Okay, we define the number. Okay, change ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. The algorithm, okay, that will be you take some value n, okay, and then from 1 to n, sorry, not from 1 to n, from 2 to n, 2 to n, you check if this n is divisible by any other number other than n, okay, or like n minus 1. Okay, given value 29. Okay, you take all the values from 2 to 28. Okay, and you check if any number in between this 2 to 28, if it divides 29. If any number between 2 to 28 divides 29, then 29 is not prime. Not prime. If there exists no number that actually divides 29, then 29 is a prime number. Correct? This is the point. We have used the same thing, okay, for I in range of 2 to n. Okay, suppose I take 29. I have taken the 29 as an example, right? So 2 to 29. Okay, if n percentage I, okay, that is the remainder. Okay, so 4 percentage 2. 4 percentage 2 is 0 because 4 is divisible by 2. So 3 percentage 2, it will give me 1 as the answer because the remainder is 1. Okay, so any number that is divisible by another number, okay, it will give the remainder as 0, right? So if this remainder is 0, then n is not a prime number, and then you break the statement. You break it then and there itself. Use break. Okay, else you print n is a prime number. Okay, so after defining this one, we have to make sure that we are defining this function. Okay, so we're not defining, you are using this so PRI of some value 29, we shall take 29. Now 29 is a prime number because there exists no values between 2 to 28 that actually divides 29, and I can even use prime of 30. Okay. So 30 is not a prime number, that is also possible. Okay. Similarly, you can write the same what do you say, the program, okay, without defining this PRI, that is also possible. Okay. The other things will remain the same. For loop again, okay, and you will be giving the input, user input direct kodtara. Okay, so you would not define this or like write this PRI of what number you want. Adunu sah madabodu, that I have given over here as an example. Okay, so here are the font size visible, ma'am? I hope it is visible.
Visible, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Rich. Yes. So yeah, you can write this one as well. ಯಾವುದು ಅದೇ ತರ ಕೋಡ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ನಾವು ಬೇಕೋ ಹಂಗೆ ಬರಿಬಹುದು. Okay, so you can write the same program using while loop as well, while I is less than n. Okay, but while n ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ it will start from 0 and 1, right? Or like 1 ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So 1 is you cannot consider 1 while you checking if the number is prime or not. So that's the reason. Okay, aವಾಗ numbers ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, or like number of quotes ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, because you have to define for what I is equal to 1, or like for while I is equal to 1 ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So it's always better to start with for loop. Okay, so range of 2 to n meaning the array or like that list starts from 2. Okay, that list starts from 2 and ends at n minus 1. Okay, starts from 2 and ends at n minus 1. Okay. So to find the factorial of a number, okay, so factorial of a number over here, sorry, so we consider p as 1. Okay, so whenever we are trying to do any multiplication, we initialize a variable with 1. Okay, because anything multiplied with 0 will be 0, right? So for some we use 0, because if anything that is added to that non-zero value, okay, it will take, or like there will be an increment and decrement error ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay, for the computation and the manual and computation ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ error ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So multiplication we use, or like we initialize some variable with 1, and when you are using addition operations, when we'll initialize the variable with 0, isn't it? So factorial n for any range of values. Okay, so I want a factorial of 10. Okay, so factorial of 10. Okay, so start with 1. Okay, so I is 1 to n, because if I give range of 10, the value starts with 0, 1, 2, and so on up to 9. Okay, but I want these values to be 1, 2, 3, and so on, because if I use this 0 into 1 into 2 into 3 and so on, it will give me the value to be 0. Correct? So if I'll just remove this one, and we shall use fact. Fact of 10, I'll get 0 as the answer. Factorial of 10 is equal to 0 and 1. Because I am start the range, or like the array over here is starting from 0. That's why we use this 1 comma n plus 1. Okay, so that the range, or like that array starts from 1. Okay, and multiplies. Okay, so p is equal to p star I. Okay, over here we need not increment I. Okay, after each loop I will be incremented in for loop. Okay, after each of this statement for some condition. Okay, so p is equal to p star I, right? P star I. Once you come out of this loop, okay, so I give the print statement over here. So it will increment. I will be incremented. First it will do for I is equal to 1. Okay, and again it will increment, and it will do the same thing for I is equal to 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now if I use this one, factorial of 10 is 328800. Okay. So this is one way that you can write the, or like find the factorial. Okay, and also since we had imported the math already, you can even check that factorial of 10. It is this is because I have used math module. Yeah, this is because of math module. And this is the comment. Okay, it's always good to write the comments if at all you are using, or like sending the codes to someone else, because they'll know what actually you are doing. Now that I am explaining, that is fine, but if at all you are look at some random code, it will not be the same thing. Okay, that is one more thing. Okay. So I have written the same thing over here. Okay, so this actually the 4 lines over here, they remain the same. Okay, so these 4 lines they are the same thing. Instead of you can use this one as well, or like you can write these things. Okay, there will be no difference. There is no difference in the output. Okay, but over here one thing is I have used, okay, the print statement over here is varying. Okay, let me just tell that. Okay. To enter the number, I'm using I'll use 12. So this is you initializing the, like giving user input on the value of number. Okay, now you are initializing what is p, or the product. Okay, since I'm finding the product, I use p is equal to 1. Okay, so for I in range of n plus 1, p is equal to p star I. So 1 into 1, 1 into 2, so 2 but the answer p is equal to 2, and 2 into 3, 6 will be stored in p, and then 6 into 4, that is 24, that will be stored in p, and so on. Okay. So one print statement that I gave over here in the previous code was print. Okay, directly use the string values within single quotes, and the variable names over here like this, separated by a comma. Okay, one another way to write the, what would I say, with the print statement. Okay, and the print statement is print f. Okay, so you use this f inside the parenthesis. After f, you start with single quotes. Okay, after this f is what you will be printing. Okay, so what you want to print, you will be using after this single quotes. Okay, so print parenthesis, inside the parenthesis. Okay, so I'll just write it. Print parenthesis f and use single quotes. Now you write what you want to print. Okay, factorial of given number, or like factorial of. Okay, I want this f or like n to be printed over here. So if you want to use this variables or like what you have given as input numbers or like these things, you use curly braces. Okay, and then you type the values. Okay, that is factorial of n is now the product or like the factorial is stored in p, right? Again, you can use p. You can use p over here and shift enter. I'll use 5. Okay, 120. The factorial of 5 is 120. Or you can even use a mixed statement. Okay, this comma p. This is also possible. Is 120. We'll get the answer. So there are few ways we should. One thing is we should not bound or like give a boundary to ourselves with respect to this Python and all these things. Ishtak matra ishte ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ there is no condition. We can do however the statement is okay. So ಇದು restriction ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. There is no restriction that we have to follow only this kind of print statements, but the syntax should be proper. Okay, if I just without this comma, if I give this one, then it will give an error. Okay, so we have to follow that that axioms ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Those are the things that are very essential, right? So the print statement or like the syntax or the way the print statement has to be represented, that there is it's kind of an axiom. We cannot change that one. We have to follow those things. But for different kinds of print statement, we can use since our output will be the same, we can use anything that is valid. Okay, that is the point.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Participant one Gayatri Satyan.
Okay, sir, that's a minute. Let me check.
Why f is used in the print statement?
That's what, madam. Yeah, ಇದು representation. Okay, so since I'm using this kind of representation, I'm using printf statement. Okay, so that is again parenthesis p. Now ಇದನ್ನ f statement ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, if you just print like this, then it will give the answer like this. Factorial of n is p. Okay, because it is considering these things as string values. Okay, and it is not considering these as the values that are stored in the int or the input ಅಥವಾ product value ಏನು ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಅದಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay, so that's why for this print statement or like the print function to consider this n and p values as these values. Okay, so whatever n that is there, we want this print function to consider the n or that we have given. So 5 is the n that I gave, right? So print statement should go and fetch that information. For that one, the syntax is like this. Okay, so sorry, so 5. You can use other ways as well. Okay, meaning you can print. Okay, so print factorial within quotes. You can use factorial comma n is a p. It's also possible. So factorial of 5 is 120. Now I have not used f. Okay, so you can either stick with this one, okay, or you can go with this one as well. Okay, thank you very much. You're welcome. Is it always necessary to use def before loop? Yes, ma'am. Professor Sophia Shalini. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I'll just explain that one. It is necessary. It is necessary if you are defining that function. Okay, if you are taking an example like this, okay, I have given 2 examples over here. One is using this def. meaning we are defining the some name. Okay, I am given fact. Okay, factorial is already a keyword, so you cannot use factorial. Okay, so if I use I can use PC8F. Okay, so it's just a reverse of fact. Okay, so I can use this one as well. Meaning it's just some name where that TCAF will do this function. What is TCAF is doing is it is multiplying all the values within the given range. Okay, so if I use this n, it is using this n over here, and it is multiplying from 1. From 1, it is multiplying each of the values, and it is storing in P. Okay, so over here, if I use TCAF of 5, TCAF, right? TCAF of 5. I will run this one. Okay. Yeah, TCAF of 5 is 120. It will give the answer. Okay. But if you are defining the what function, or if you are defining this function, then you have to use def. That is very much needed. If you don't use this def and you just write this one, it will not give any value. Okay. So def is for defining some function, but over here you can use write the statement without def as well. That is also possible. Okay. Yes. Okay. So these are about factorial. Okay. Now quadratic equation. Solving a problem for quadratic equation. Okay. So over here I've used MP math. Okay. Math as n. Okay. Because I want a square root. Right? So I use MP math. So given in this one, given an expression ax squared plus by plus c is equal to 0. Okay. So first we find the discriminant, that is b squared minus 4ac. Correct. And then for finding the root, we use x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac. This is nothing but this discriminant. I'll call it d. Square root of b divided by 2a. Okay, that's the same thing that I have done over here. Because I am using the square root. Okay, so x is equal to 2 anta kodutini. Okay, I have already used this thing, right? So I'll just use reset. Okay. So see, I have now reset all these things. So I'll give x is equal to 4. And I'll do SQRT of x. I use reset because I actually deleted all the variables and all the imported files. Okay, whatever libraries that I had imported, I have deleted everything. Suppose I am using brand new Python ideally. Okay, then you initialize x is equal to 4 and you find the square root of x. Okay, it will give the name SQRT is not defined. Okay, because SQRT is as of now is not an inbuilt Python function. Okay, as like addition, multiplication, all those things, it is not an inbuilt Python function. So we need to import some module. That's why I am importing math module. Okay, import math as yum. Okay. So for this given equation is okay, I've taken an equation directly and I'm okay. So initializing the values. Okay, so it will be 4x squared plus 2x plus 6 is equal to 0, and I am taking this coefficients directly as a, b and c. A, b, c direct account, and you finding the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. Okay, and one root is r1 is equal to minus b minus discriminant. Okay, so minus b plus or minus, right? So one root will be minus b plus root d divided by 2a, and other will be x is equal to minus b minus root of d divided by 2a. This is another root. So I'm taking as of now just one root, and if I execute this one, I get a error message. Okay, why I get an error message? There is a reason for this one. Okay, suppose I print d over here. I'm getting 92. Okay, so discriminant is nothing but, so if discriminant is 92, d is equal to 92. What is, sorry, minus 92, right? So D is minus 92. Yes, D is minus 92. So over here, what will be the value? That is x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of minus 92 divided by 2a. So this root of minus 92 is nothing but imaginary, right? This is an imaginary value. So math will not help us in any way. So we can use C math. Okay, we can use C math over here. Okay, so C math is one module for complex math. Okay, so in that case we can use this statement. Now we'll get the answer. Okay, C math is meaning complex math. Okay, so it will deal with complex values and it will give the answer. So now if I print R1. Okay, now it is giving minus 0.5, minus 1 these values, and J. J meaning this part, that is minus 1.198957, all this value. This is the imaginary part of the given root. Okay, so and R2 equals the same thing. Okay, and plus over here. To print R1, and you can use print R2 as well. R2 is not defined. Why is R2 not defined? Yeah. Print R1 and print R2. Okay, that is 0.25 minus 1.98 on all these things into J, or like J meaning this is imaginary part, and 0.25 plus 1.98 finite all these things. That is which is telling that it is the imaginary part of the second row. Okay, so one another direct way, or like the math way, okay, or like the proper way to use mathematics in this one, because over here everything is user defined. I'm defining what is A, I'm defining what is B. I'm not giving any equation. Okay, so I have to give any equation which is of the form ax squared plus bxy py plus c. Okay, sorry, I wrote the equation wrong. Okay, sorry, this is x over here. Sorry. So I have to give an equation that is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay, so one equation of the form like this I have to give, and this system, or like the Python, should have the capability to give the roots. Okay, that's where the computation takes place, isn't it? So in that case, what we can do is we can use SymPy. Okay, so import SymPy as star. Okay, so import SymPy as star as SP. Okay, SP is proper one. Import SymPy as SP. Okay, if you want to use star, then you use from SymPy import star. Okay, so for that time, it will import all the packages of SymPy to the local area environment. Okay, so from SymPy you import star. Now define the variable x equals symbol x. Okay, so you're telling that the x value, or like wherever I'm using this x, okay, consider it as a symbol. Don't give any value for that one. Okay, that is the point. Now I'll define the equation. EQ is equal to, I use 4x squared plus 2x plus 6, right? So 4x squared, 4 star x star 2, that is 4x squared plus 2x, 2 star x plus 6. So what we do is we directly use solve. We use solve this equation, solve EQ for x. Solve EQ for x. Okay, so if I use this one, it is giving me an error. Okay, why it is giving me an error? Because it's telling that symbol is not defined. Okay, and why symbol is not defined? Because it's still using I have not mentioned using what package. Okay, this is why this import as SP or import numpy as NP, or like import SymPy as SP is very important, because we need to tell the Python program, or tell the system from which library that you have to import. Okay, ಯಾವ library ಇಂದ import ಮಾಡಬೇಕು one package of operation. Okay, so symbol is an operation, or like it is considering X as a symbol, right? So to do that one, from which library you have to import this keyword. Okay, so I have to use sp dot. Sp dot. Now it will consider. Okay. Again, it will give solve is not defined because I have not used sp over here again. Because now when I give sp dot solve, okay, it will go to SymPy library and it will use that solve function that is defined in the SymPy library. Okay, I will give me the answer. So minus 1 by 4, that is 0.25. Okay, minus square root 23 into I. Okay, over here it is using I. Okay, SymPy is using I over here, the capital I. Okay, divided by 4. So square root of 23 divided by 4. So I can use sp or like m dot sqrt square root of 23 divided by 4. We'll take the value that is 1.9858. Yeah, these two values are same, correct? They are almost identical. Okay, 1.1989, correct? So over here the values are same. So we can tell that yeah, these two are same. The answer is same. Okay, so you can use like this, but I would suggest using this kind of things because it is what actually they are doing. We are solving an equation, given equation or like given quadratic equation for x. Okay, or we are trying to find the root of x. Okay, so this is the proper way. Okay, instead of when we are giving all these things directly, the computer or like this Python is doing nothing. It's just doing some mathematical or like basic mathematical operations. Okay, with just addition, multiplication. Okay, but over here when we are using this library SymPy, okay, that time we are considering x as a symbol x. Okay, isn't it? So whatever that we are doing in the manual aspect, okay, manually hang ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅದೇ ತರ ಅದನ್ನ consideration ತಗೊಂಡು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. It is using x as a symbol and it is solving the equation for for x, isn't it? So this is much more proper way, I would say. Okay. Yes. So the next program would be to reverse a number. Okay. To reverse a number. Yes, ma'am. So what do you do to reverse a number? We use this. We will define reverse number. Okay, reverse is not a predefined number. We first use this reverse a number, and then we will use or like we initialize REB is equal to 0. Okay, and then while number is greater than 0, I'll just tell the algorithm or like how we do these things. Okay, so the first thing is we are initializing some REB to be equal to 0. Okay, suppose I have this number n is equal to 15268. 15268 as a number only. So I want to reverse this number. As of now, I have REB is equal to 0. While num is greater than 0, what I do is digit is equal to num percentage 10. Okay, so we already, so what is percentage? So 5 percentage 3 will give me the remainder, right? So percentage 10. So if I divide this one by 10, what will be the value now? I'll get 1526.8. Correct? 1526.8. This is what I'll get. Now, what I'll do is REB is equal to reverse the digit. Reverse into 10 plus the digit. Okay, or like it is give the remainder. So the remainder as of now is 8. This is the remainder. Okay, when you are dividing this one, this is the remainder. Okay, yeah, this will be the remainder. So it will multiply this one with 10. 0 into 10 will be 0 plus this 8. Plus this 8. Okay. It is stored in, will be stored in this REB. Okay. The new REB will be 8. Then what happens? Num equals num percentage or like say front slash 10. Meaning we'll give the, okay, so 5 /3. It will give me 1 as answer. So how many times it has to multiply? Okay. So these values will remain. Okay, over here when I use this. Okay, num equals num //10. Okay, these values will remain as num. So this will be my new n over here. This will be my new n. Okay, and again I'll do the same thing. So 1526. Okay, I'll use %10. Okay, I'll get 6 as remainder, and I'll get remainder as 6 and 152. Okay, 152, right? 152. Okay, 6 as remainder, and 10 into 152 times is 1520, isn't it? So this value will become my new n, and what I do is this REV is there. The code was REV into 10. Okay, then plus this digit. So this is my digit as of now. Okay, so REV was 8. 8 into 10 is 80 plus 6. Okay, that becomes 86. And again REV into 10, that will be 860. If I do the same thing, 2 will be there plus 2, that is 862. Okay, and similarly so on and so forth. I'll get 86251. 86251 inside that loop. Okay, once this is also done. Okay, so the value will be 0, less than or equal to, right? So less than or equal to 0 while n is greater than 0. So while this number becomes 0, the loop will automatically stop. Okay, now we have to retain every time you use this one. Okay, every time you use this DEF, make sure that you are returning the value. Okay, you have to must ensure you have to return the value, whatever or like where you are storing these values. Okay, if I execute this one, it will be executed. Okay, but I have to tell what is the value that needs to be printed. Okay, so I took 15268, right? So I use 15268. You can use like this, or you can run this program and you can type over here reverse of 15268. So 86251. Okay, that's all possible. Okay. 86251 also will be okay. The reverse of this one. Okay. And you can use print statement for this one. Print the reverse of what is it? Reverse of, okay, yeah, print statement first. Yeah, print reverse of the given number. Okay, so since I have not given any number, then it will not print. I have to give num. Okay, so num should take. I don't think it will take the value num over there. So if you have used n, then it will. Okay. Yes. So this is about reversing the number. Okay, and then next, if it is, it is to check if the given number is a palindrome. Okay, so palindrome means either ways you read it will be the same thing. Okay, so if you observe, okay, these two codes are almost same. Okay, so while the num is greater than 0, digit is equal to num %10, you are reversing it. Okay, it's the same thing. What actually you are doing is you will initialize this num. Okay, or like ಈ num value na define ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, and you will check if this NUM and this REV they are same. If this NUM and this REV are same, then you say the given number is a palindrome. Okay, so what I have done over here is I just created a temp number. Okay, temporary or like some dummy variable. Okay, so temp number ಅಂತ ಒಂದು define ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. That will be my number whatever that I give. Okay, so int input, enter the value. Okay, so now reverse is equal to 0. Okay, this is same like the previous code or like previous program. You actually reverse the number from here to here. It is nothing but reversing the number. Okay, and all these things will be stored in this REV. Okay, So I'll just take this one out and I'll run this program. Okay, so enter the value 1252. Okay, I'll take this value. Now if I print REV, it will give 12521. I'll take some other value. Okay, 12668. Okay, 12668. Yeah, it is reversing the 86621. Okay, what I have to do now that my number is in NUM and the reverse number is in REV, I have to check if they both are equal. So I use if statement over here. If the given number or like the temp number and the REV. Okay, temp number and REV. And I don't think you can even delete this line, I guess. Yeah, I think you can delete this number. Okay, since num is okay. Yeah, it's better to use num. Okay. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ changing the value of num over here. Okay, num//10. The values or like this num values are changing. That's why it's always better to keep this temp value. Okay, so don't change that one. So if I use this one, so if this temp value or like the num value that I actually gave is equal to the reverse value, then say that the value is palindrome. Okay, or like the if it is not true, else. Okay, if this is true, then you do this one. Else meaning if it is not true, then write the value is not a palindrome number or the given number is not a palindrome. Okay, you can write 125521. Okay, so if I use enter, the value is palindrome number. Similarly, if I use 16228889, some other random number, the value is not a palindrome because when you read it from the reverse direction, the value is differing, isn't it? The both are not equal. That's why you are getting value like this. Yes. So next thing would be to print all the odd numbers. Okay, so this is very much easy. What we can do is to print odd numbers. So you take some list. Okay, so what the basic idea over here is if some value, some number is divisible by 2, okay, then you say that okay. That's it. If some value, okay, some number is divisible by 2, then you say that it is a even number. If it is not divisible by 2, you say it is an odd number. So if something is divisible, again the remainder will be 0, right? So you take the numbers. Okay, so the given problem is to print odd numbers from there is a range, I guess. Okay, let me check what is the range between 0 and 20. Okay, between 0 and 20, you have to print all the odd numbers. So for I in range of 20 or like 21, okay, so you can even leave 20, okay, 20 over, okay, 21, between, okay. So I in range of 20, if I percentage 2, that is the remainder for each of this I, okay. Now I is 1, 2, okay, and so on. For each of this I, you divide the values by 2 and if the remainder should be 0, okay, then if the remainder is 0, then you say it is a odd number. Okay, if you want to, you can just use if I percent is a print I, okay, so you can directly use this one. Okay, it's just a 3-line code for I in range of 20. Now it's showing us the answers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and all these things. Okay. But if you want it to look more proper or like beautiful, you can just use these kind of things. Okay, so I'll take out these things. Okay, so when I'm using this append, okay, I have to create a list, so I'll use odd is equal to, I'll create some empty list over here. So empty list, I'm appending or like I'm adding all the values of I over here to this odd list, okay, which is an empty set, sorry, empty list. Okay. And then I can use this, the list of odd numbers, okay, less than 20 or between 0 to 20 is this much. Okay, and you can write the same code for, using DEF as well. DEF odd of n. DEF odd of n is this much, and can use this one odd of n, correct? Now odd of 10, okay. The odd is already defined, is it? So odd one, we'll see odd one. We'll use odd one of 20. It's not showing the value. Odd one of 20. Odd one of 20. Print. Odd one of 20. Check and the function. Okay, odd one over here. Yeah, it's not appending. Yeah, but you can still. There will be some value. Yeah. Now I'll get the answer. Okay. So print list of odd numbers is odd, meaning for this value. Now, okay, I didn't indent this. Okay. So in the previous example that I had taken for the same thing, okay, this print statement was for this for loop, right? So that's why. So it is coming out of this loop. Okay. Or like, yeah. So that's why indentation is very important. Okay. List of odd numbers is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and all these things. You can use that one or like this one as well. Okay, any that is possible. Okay, and try it like that. Try in range of 21, or like you can choose n over here, and you can even say what is n. N equals int input. Enter the value of n. Now if I say 26, we print all the values that are odd numbers less than 26. Okay, starting from 1. Okay. If you want to use in between numbers, that actually is there. Okay, I just check 1 second. Okay, still have time. Okay. So to write the program between or like to print even numbers between 25 and 45. Okay. So between 25 and 45, you want to print all the even numbers, right? So if you want to print all the even numbers, you can directly take these values. Okay, for I in range of 25, 45. Okay, so it will go up to 44. Okay, if at all this is 46, then you go for in between the kottradrinda it's okay, 46 and tondre illa. From and to kotre avaga then you have to check. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. Between 25 and 45, line range of 25 to 45. Okay, what we have to do, we'll use the same thing. If I percentage 2 is equal to 0. Over here, I use not equal to 0, correct? But in this case, I shall use equals to. Okay, meaning if it is identical to 0, then print I. Print I. If I use this one and enter, you get invalid syntax, and if at all these kind of things, make sure that the if or like condition statements, they are ending with a colon and there is a tab, okay, indentation in the next line. Okay, now we can see that all the values are printed over here. Okay, all the values are printed over here. Or if you want all these things in a list, So then we can use the same code. So create an empty list E1 is equal to empty list. Okay. And then use E1 dot append I. Okay. And then you can use in the last page, you can use print E1. That will also give the answer. However you want, you can write all these things. Okay. So this is about typing or like getting even numbers between 25 and 45. And write all the programs, write a program to print all the numbers divisible by 3. Okay, so divisible by 3. I can copy the same code. Okay, there will be few minute changes that we can do directly. Okay, so I'll not write it, I'll just use div3. Okay, so I'm divisible by 3, I'll just create an empty list. Okay, so if some values of I between 55 and 75, right? So it will be 55 and 75, between 55, 75. So there are range of values. Over here, I starts from 55. Okay, and then it will go up to 74. Okay, this means that I is starting from 55 and it will go up to 74. Okay, and each of the I increment from 55, it will check if it is divisible by 3. If at all it is divisible by 3, then the list will be updated. Okay, div3 irodralli yav value barko adu update agutte. So I'll just have to use print div3. Print div3. Okay, that's something. For range in, okay, even append ಆಗ್ತಿದಲ್ಲ. Okay, sorry, div3. Okay, over here what I had made a mistake over here was I was appending even. Okay, now I have done that mistake. We'll check even over here. Okay, so even will give me some other values. Okay, I have 69 over here, I have 57 over here, which are not divisible by 2, isn't it? They are not divisible by 2. Now, even though I ended that program, or like I ended this one, it will be still over there. If I do these kind of mistakes, then this list will be appended, or like changes will be made in this list. Okay, but I want this append to happen in div3, so I have to change this one as well, div3. I get the value 57, 60, 63, 66, 69 and 72, which are divisible by 3, of course, isn't it? Yes. So next will be program to write the Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so this is also very straightforward. Okay. If you check in any online, this one, there will be a few more examples using all the other recursive methods and all these things, but I don't think that will be no, we can go for very simple method. Okay, so in Fibonacci, what actually we do is we start with 0 and 1, isn't it? And then we add these two numbers and write 1 plus 1 will go for 2, and 2 plus 1, that is, will go for 3. So what we do is we initialize U to this one or A to this one, and we'll initialize B to this one. Okay, we'll print these two things. Okay, and then we'll add. Before adding, what we'll do is we'll initialize the third item. So this is A plus B will be this one, right? So A plus B will be this one. Now what we'll do is we'll shift entire this one tab, or like now we will consider this as A and this as A plus B. Okay, sorry, not this one. This as A and this as A plus B. A plus B. Yeah, and in the first case it was like this. A, B, and A plus B was this one, right? So we'll initialize this B as A and this one as A plus B. That's the same thing that I am doing over here. Okay, so okay, so I'm initializing U and V as 0 and 1. Okay, now U takes the value 0 and V takes the value 1. So I want to find the first 10. Okay. Yeah, first 10, right? So you don't want this one, I think. Yeah, it will give me the value. So the first 10 or like, yeah, up to 10. For n is equal to 10, I would want to find the Fibonacci series. Okay, so I'll first use print u. Okay, u is 0, that is printed over here. Now u takes the value u as it is, sorry, u takes the value v. Now u will be incremented to this v, or like that is 1, and then v takes the value u plus v, that is 0 plus 1, that is 1. Now again it will print u, so u will be 1 again. Okay, now u takes the value v. Okay, so that is u takes the value means u will be 1, and v takes the value u plus v, that is 1 plus 1, 2, correct? So 2 plus 1, that is 3, that is printed over here, and so on and so forth. You can write all these things. Okay, that is one case. And if you want this to be elaborate, okay, and you want in a very proper format, you can use this code. Okay, so you take the value of n. Okay, int input, enter the value of n. Now you initialize again what is a and b. Okay, so fib is one list or like an array that is having the values a and b. Okay, so in the get line suppose I want to write a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 1. I am just directly taking a comma b is equal to 0 comma 1. Okay, and fib is a list having the values a and b. Okay, so for I in range of n plus 1. Okay, so I have 10 values, meaning I want all the n is equal to 10 vargu, but in Python it will stop at n minus 1. So I take n plus 1 so that it will stop at n, isn't it? A is equal to b, okay, and b is equal to a plus b. Okay, so whatever a that I get over here, I'll append that one to this list fib. List again, I'll append martini. Then I'll use this one. So if I take the value 10, so 34, 55, just taking one value extra, right? Okay, 1138, okay, but it should give the same values. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. So how many values are there? Okay, okay. So I think I can just take this one up to n minus 1 because already 2 are there, right? So n minus 2.
I think it should come straight to num.
No, it's not straight to num. It will be like this.
Okay.
But still, yeah, one thing is return. You should give the return statement whenever you are using. You are defining a function. Okay, that's when it will give the output.
Okay.
Suppose now that I have this code, right? I'll just use num as 152 or something. I'll just copy this kind of these things which are there. Okay. So it's giving the reverse, isn't it?
Hmm.
It should be off for while. Yeah, those same. I don't know. Okay. Anyhow, so it will just give out the whatever the function output n ಬಂದಿದೆ ಆ function output ಹೊರಗಡೆ ತೋರಿಸಲ್ಲ. It
Okay.
will be stored. The value will be stored in REV. But for that REV to show out, okay, when I'm using this one, then you can use return. That's why you use return statement.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
If any queries, please put in the chat box or ask resource person, dear participants.
And there are few more matrices codes over here that will be helpful if manipulation with the matrices. Okay, maybe of course tomorrow Praveen sir will be continuing with the matrices part. Okay, very this one. Before going to that one, it is better always to know the basics. Okay, so over here I'll just explain what I have written on over here. So this is creating a matrix with just
Excuse me, sir.
yes sir, please sir.
Sir, Gayatri Satyan,
Sir.
she's asking question.
Yeah, sure.
Explain
ma'am.
the
go ahead.
Fibonacci program once again.
Sure, ma'am. Okay. So the first part is okay, I guess the first code that I have written over here. Okay, it is very simple. Okay, I'm taking some u is equal to 0 and v is equal to 1. Okay, and I'm for I in range of 10, right? Okay. U is equal to 0 and v is equal to 1. So we know Fibonacci series 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on and so forth. So what I have done over here is I'm taking this one as u and I'm taking this one as v. Okay. So this term is nothing but u plus v, isn't it? So initializing u and v is fine. For I in range of 10, okay. So print u. Okay. First it will print whatever the u it is there over there. It will print it. Then what actually happens is u will take the position of v. That is, this one will become the new u and u plus v will become the new v. Okay, and again it will print u. So for the first iteration, u is equal to 0. For the second iteration, u is equal to 1. And after that, what will happen? For the third iteration, u plus v, this is u plus v, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So this value will become the new u, and this u plus v, this will become the new v, and it will print for third iteration, it will print 1. And again, u plus v is nothing but 1 plus 2, that is 3. Okay, and this will become the new u, and this will become the new v. This is u plus v again. Okay. And the iteration process goes on till the value is till n, or like I is equal to 10, isn't it? So that's what I have written over here. Okay, so after initializing for each of the I, okay, it will print u. On the other hand, in this case, I'm taking I'm initializing a value a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 1. Okay, and I'm finding defining a list FIB. Fibonacci list create ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ with the base value, or like I'm initializing with a. Okay, instead of an empty list, I'm taking a. Okay, if you don't want this one, then also you can do it. Okay, I'll just show it. Okay, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಎ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, meaning it will be first, the list will have only 0 as an item. Okay, then what I'm doing for I in range of n, okay, so I want up to 10 values, right? So for I in range of 10, okay, a is equal to b, again I'm doing the same thing. Okay, a will take the value b and b will take the value a plus b. Okay, so for the first iteration, a is equal to 0, b is equal to 1. For the second iteration, a will take the value b, so a is equal to 1, and b will take the value a plus b, that is 0 plus 1, that will be 1 again, and this item will be appended over here. And for the third case, a is equal to b, that is b is equal to 1 over here, b is equal to a plus b, 1 plus 1, that is 2. In this case, this will be appended over here. And in the fourth iteration, a is equal to b, that is 2, a will be equal to 2, and b is equal to 2 plus 1, that is 3, and this value will be appended. Okay, this goes on for 10 iterations. Up to 10 iterations it will go on. Okay, and then it will be, you can have the output. Okay, if at all you want to start with an empty set, okay, you remove this one, okay, and use this one before doing this operation. Okay, you have ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ now I think I have to use n plus 1 over here. Okay, so 10 ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ again I will get the same value. So Python will be executing line by line. Okay, first ಏನಿತ್ತು a is equal to 0 ಇತ್ತು, that will be appended, and then a takes the value b, that is 1. Okay, so you can do like this as well. Suppose you are taking a directly over here, then you write this statement, okay, below this statement. So a will ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ we'll write the statement after this, and we'll get the answer.
Sir, one participant, Mala Srinivas,
Yes, sir.
asking explain palindrome once again, sir.
Okay, palindrome. Okay. And palindrome, right? Just a minute. Yeah. So in palindrome, first we'll take the value n over here. Okay. So some number I'll take. So num is equal to 12521. Okay. So I'm using this temp, or like I can say this one is some dummy variable again with the same value. Okay. Or you can take this one, instead of temp you can use this num2. Okay. num2 on the or num1 the because since I'm changing the values of num, or like the number that I have taken, okay, I want this value at the later stage. Okay, so with all the operations, this num value might have changed. Okay, the initial value that I actually gave, so I'll have the same num1 value to be 12521 again. Okay, then what will happen, and I'll initialize some reverse value is to be equal to 0, reverse value to be equal to 0. Okay, so while num is greater than 0, okay, this is the same what I had done over here. Okay, so I'll just explain it again, not a problem. So while this value is greater than 0, so what I'll be doing, dig is another value, another variable, okay, that actually takes the remainder. Okay, so dig is one value that takes the remainder when you divide this one by 10. Okay, so when you're dividing this one with 10, the remainder at the first case will be 1, right? So dig takes the value 1. Okay, that is this part. Then rev is equal to rev star 10, okay, plus this digit. It is 0 into 10. 0 multiplied with 10 will be 0, and plus this digit that will be stored in the new reversed value, that will be 1. Correct? And then num equals num double slash 10. So when you use num equals num double slash 10, that is 12521 double slash 10 will give us 52. Will give us the value 1251. That remainder will be 1, that is over here, isn't it? Now you use the same process again, or like you do the same thing. Okay, that is dig. Dig is equal to you find the remainder. So remainder in this case will be 2. Okay, so DIG will take the value 2 over here. Okay, and this will be used here. So REV, the new REV is equal to 1. So okay, the new REV is 1. 1 multiplied with 10 will be 10. 10 plus this digit 2, that will be 12. 10 plus the digit 2 will 12. Okay, and you again use this one. So 1252 double slash 10 will give us 125. Okay, this is the new digit or like the new number over here now. And again we'll go back to the same thing. Okay, so when I use percentage, okay, 5 will be the remainder, so I'll get the digit 5. Okay, and I'll use this 5 over here. The new REV is 12. 12 into 10 will be 120. 120 plus 5 will give me 125. Correct. And then this new term, when you use again this kind of syntax, you'll get 12 as a new number. We'll go on so on and so forth. And at the last point, okay, 1 will be the remainder directly. Okay, so after that one, this NUM value will take the 0 or take the value 0. Okay, NUM will be equal to 0. Once this is equal to 0, okay, so till or like while this is greater than 0, you use this loop. Once NUM is equal to 0, you stop the while loop. Okay, this while loop stops once num is equal to 0. Okay, so now you got the reverse value. Reverse value will be REV will be 12521. Okay, suppose I take some other value. Okay, I'll take 1252. Okay, so REV will be equal to 1252. Correct? 1252 will be there. What we have to do over here is palindrome means this is the reverse number. When you read it from LHS or when you read it from RHS, it should be the same, or like the characters or the numbers should be of the same sequence, isn't it? So 12521 and 12521, they are 12521 is a palindrome, isn't it? So this number or like the temp or number what actually I defined this should be same as this REV or like the reverse value. Then you say that the values or like the given number is a palindrome. Okay, that's what I have done over here. So instead of this temp, I can use num1, and if I give the value, if I have to give the value, I can use 14541. Okay, the value is a palindrome. Yes. Yeah, Malayalam is a palindrome. Exactly, sir. Balasubramaniam, sir. Yes. Exactly.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, if any queries, please ask the resource person, sir.
So string will be different, like, finding the palindrome for a string, you need to write different kind of codes, and you have to make a list of all the values, and you have to create, reverse the list. Okay, and then there are a lot of ways that actually are there, but since we are concerned only with the numbers, then that's why I can write out all easily, much more easily.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, shall we conclude, sir?
Sure, definitely, sir.
So, dear participants, if any queries, please. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. So, conclude, sir. With a deep sense of gratitude, I humbly thank Professor Aravind N for introducing basic concepts of Python. Sir has elaborately explained about the program, problems encountered during the execution of the program, and also highlighted the applications of Python. So in fact, the Python program is a very difficult task even for the engineering students. And sir has explained very lucidly. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
I would like to thank our respected principal, Dr. K. Sharda Madam, for her constant support and encouragement. Thank you, Madam. I also would like to thank teaching and non-teaching staff, faculty of our college. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for their active involvement in the virtual webinar in the Python programming and making the program grand success. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me an opportunity as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Dear participants, tomorrow we'll start at the 4 o'clock for the next session. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.